first thing we've got to do is glue the front panel together, and it's made up of 4 layers. So they're numbered. Layer 1, that's the top, and we're looking at the back surface of it, and so that goes there. Right, this one, so the micro switch is pushed through from the front through these holes and these holes, and you need something for them to butt up against the back surface of them. So this third layer, if you look, bring them down a bit, it's a slightly different shape, and I'll show you later, but the switches fit in from the front and then they hit these edges here. It still allows you to solder wires to the pins, but it keeps them flush with the surface of the DigiGurdy. This is a filler layer, this is layer 4. Okay. And so the keys will run through these slots, and the switches push through from the front up against these strange shaped slots. And I'll show you now how that works. Here I've temporarily clamped them together, I haven't glued them yet. It's really important to push them up against a straight edge once you start gluing them in both directions. Otherwise, if the holes are misaligned, you're going to have a world of pain, and you're going to have to start filing. But if you can see now, if we come around and look at it from the front, okay, you can see how, if you look into these holes, you can see how these go in. If I just show you that, wiggle them in, and you can see how now it's absolutely flush with the surface. Let's get that in focus. It's flush with the surface, and it does its job. And if you turn it round, where are we? There you are. You can still reach the outer 2 pins to solder wires to them. So the plan here is to not get glue everywhere. So I have a glass of water, because if you use wet cotton buds you can actually remove glue that goes in the wrong place, but I'm also going to use it to put the glue on. So this panel needs to glue to here, so what I'm going to do, rather than put glue on here and get it into all the holes, is to put it on this piece and fold it over down like that. And so to do it quickly, I'm actually going to just put a big blob of glue on a piece of cardboard here. Okay, should do me for now. And then put it on pretty thinly actually. Okay, and then put this on there as accurately as you can get it, and then quickly check it's straight. It's a straight edge. Okay, and then quickly get on with the next layer. So the next layer is this. Yeah. So we'll do the same again. Again, we'll try and stay away from the holes as much as possible. And then we put the final layer on. Okay, and again I'm just going to go around the edges. It's best to rehearse this before you use the glue. Just practice, make sure you get it right. So we'll chew everything up. Okay, we'll put some clamps on the ends for now. temporarily. Then we'll just check that the switches fit still, otherwise we're in deep trouble. That one fits, yeah, that one fits, yeah, okay, right. So next thing, I'm going to clamp it to the bench because there may be a bit of curvature in here and we don't want that. So take those out, put these down, get some small clamps, get the general idea. There we are, and let it set. Cheap clamps are fine for this kind of thing. There we go. And wait. Right, next, so that's glued together. So you can see if you look through these holes, the keys will go through. There shouldn't be anything in the way behind them. They should miss all these other structures. Okay, so you put that to one side. So we now have the back panel. You can see it's labelled rear panel, top, glue strips here, glue strips here. So basically we have 3 strips which we need to glue together there, and the same at the top there. Okay, so I've done this side. Okay, and you can see I've levelled it up in all different planes, so it's absolutely perfect. And we'll do the same again now on the other side. Big blob of glue. Supply of cotton buds, will work quite fast. This glue was used by Neil Brook to make his hurdy-gurdy, so if it's good enough for him, it's good enough for me. These cheap clamps are absolutely fine for this sort of thing. If you over tighten them, they will sort of split. But oh, that's gone crooked. Quick. Hang on. Try again. Yeah, try again. That's better. Right. And next thing then is with a wet cotton bud, just clean off all the glue where it oozes out, so it's not too bad because I didn't use much glue in the first place. if you solder a fairly thick wire across the end contacts of each switch here and here in each group, because the wire is fairly stiff that I'm using, it'll actually hold the switches in place without necessarily needing to glue them in, although you could probably put a blob of glue on each one after you finish doing all the wiring anyway. These runs need to be linked together. I'll show you that. This is just a small piece of the aluminium channel. You can see when it's in the channel is going to come down like that. So your link wires need to run sort of in a little loop round to the next one, and a little loop round to the next one, so it doesn't foul the aluminium channel. But other than that, you've just got to be methodical. Here we're using a hot glue gun glue to put tiny blobs of glue over each of the third pins here on the backs of the switches. We're leaving the middle pins untouched. Don't cover these with glue, just this pin, which we're not using. It just helps keep the switches in place. So we're going to solder our individual wires to these centre pins later on. Right, one of the first things we've got to do is prepare the aluminium channels. The whole assembly is held together with screws which go through the ends of the device into the 4 aluminium channels. The channels don't have anything for the screw to bite on, so we've got this set of 3D prints. Okay, so I'll just prepare those. But what you can see is these insert into here to a set depth, which is controlled by this little pushing device I've made. And you glue them in, and then the screws will bite into the holes in the centre of them. So the first thing is to trim these off, and then I'll show you that. We've got some cotton buds, so we take our piece of aluminium, and with the cotton bud we try and get the glue about 20 centimeters in. There, just do it again. See, about there. Then we take our piece of plastic, push it in, and then with the pusher, which has a little bump on the end which aligns with the hole, just give it a bash. Right, and we push it in before the glue sets to that distance, which is about right, and then quickly, if there's any spare glue in there, we wipe it off. And in fact there isn't any, but I'll just show you. Right, there's hardly any glue there. Okay, so that will glue itself in at the correct depth. So we'll just do another one, show you again. This glue sets quite fast, so put it in about 20 centimeters. Push the plastic piece in. It should be a sort of tightish fit. Find the pusher, push it on the end, give it a whack just to get it started, and then push it in. There we are, to the distance you require, and then clean up any spare glue. Again, because it's a tight fit, there isn't really any spare glue. So you can see how these bolts will then go into that hole and clamp the whole thing together. So we need to do that with the other 3 pieces of aluminium channel, and then we're ready to start.